This is Eclectic Airwaves. Welcome back. Last show of the season and of 2015, so let's get this started off with one of my favourite classics. Here we go, Daft Punk, one more time. It's coming up to Christmas! Right, I have to lay down the law right before we get started, before we really get into this. I've had requests already that I'm sorry I just cannot fulfill, because I did say Christmas with a difference, and that difference is that I will be playing no Christmas songs! Yay! Cheating my way out of things. No. Last year I did a show which I really enjoyed, which was my alternative Christmas playlist, or as I like to call it, the anti-Christmas playlist. Now these are songs that, I don't know, I have this weird connection with, and they always make me feel really warm and snuggly inside, like a lot of people feel about classic Christmas tracks, but they have nothing to do with Christmas whatsoever. And you know, it's a fun time to play something different. It's nice to have change. So that is what I suggest to you. If you want to send in requests, please do, but unfortunately, no grandma got run over by a reindeer for you. Instead, you will get what I believe everybody will enjoy, which is Aerosmith, because this song accurately sums up the faff of Christmas in its main chorus lyric. Whether you want to admit it to yourself or not, it is always the same old song and dance. One of those songs that seems to have a really cool bass line, and then when you actually listen to the bass line, it's depressingly simple, because it's all just electric guitar. I'm focused on this because I, very, very recently, have started to learn bass. Yeah, I finally got around to it. I am a great lover of bass lines. I think it sounds beautiful, and if I could bottle the feeling it gave me, I could sell it for millions. But unfortunately I can't, so I'm just going to have to learn to play instead. So that is on my list of current things I'm doing. Other things I'm doing is failing at cooking, because this morning I had to throw out a whole chicken. Now this falls under the name and shame that I started last week, and I'll put myself out there. Naming and shaming Georgia Brown, because dang it, you know, you should have checked the actual date that was on the chicken, not just what you thought it was, because now, as a result, I've wasted a whole chicken, and I do mean a whole one. I bought it from Aldi because I thought it went off on the 7th. It didn't. It's now in the bins outside my flat because it went out on the 4th, so it was actually starting to go green. Oh, I'm so ashamed of myself, and I'm usually so proud of my cooking. Oh, my luck with chicken lately. I burnt stock by not turning. I completely destroyed one set of stock that I made. First time I ever made stock, I was really, really proud, and I was going to boil it down, and I went out because I was being hustled out the door. I was like, okay, it's down low enough. We were out for too long, and I hadn't turned it down as low as I thought I had. It was on 4. It should have been on like 1 or 2, just enough to keep the heat in. Oh gosh, the whole flat was filled with smoke when I got back. I thought I'd completely ruined my pan. Everybody thought I'd ruined my pan. I was quite proud when I managed to salvage it with bleach and bicarb. So yes, lesson learnt there. Do not leave stock on while you go out. Don't let people hustle you out the door if you have a plan for food. You sort that plan for food out. It doesn't matter where you're going. It doesn't matter how late you are. Because then you'll end up wasting that. And always check the date on your meat. I'm not sure what other life lesson I was supposed to learn there. So anyway, Christmas is supposed to be a magical time, so here is a magical song. And by magical, I mean sweet, cheesy, and very 60s. So here you go. It's by Lovin' Spoonful, which is the most awful yet wonderful name ever. Do you believe in magic?
This is Frequency Radio.
Yes, that was Do You Believe in Magic? Short and sweet. I apologise if you can hear that thudding. I don't know what it is. I think it's a roof tile. It drives me potty. Every time. Anytime the wind picks up, thunk, thunk, thunk. It's like having your dad doing DIY when you're trying to sleep, calling you out. There is nothing worse than waking up to that. Anyway, there may be a bit of a general theme, other than the not Christmassiness, because I do have a track on here, and, you know, give me a shout on Facebook /Eclectic Airwaves if you have a request. But this song, if you know what year it reached the Christmas #1 slot, do tell, and you'll win a shout out because I didn't buy anything. So, honorary thought cookie. So here's a song I'd completely forgotten about that I do like. It's very chipper, it's very cheerful, and hopefully it'll bring back some good memories of the 80s, if not necessarily the bad film that it's from. Here is St. Elmo's, not Elbows, St. Elmo's Fire. St. Elmo's Fire, John Parr, a man everyone forgets, and with good reason. He didn't do much after that. Not that I know of, anyway. But yeah, so there's a fun little song that you may have forgotten about. I know I really enjoyed it when I really discovered that, but that wasn't the theme I prattled on about earlier. No, the theme might be a little bit 60s influenced, and by that I mean I'm looking at this and realising that's not the case at all. No, I've been on a bit of a 60s kick lately with music. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it's the weird joyfulness. I don't know. So much Beatles. It's so just dusty and everyone, and I've been really enjoying it. If anyone can find out what it is, maybe it's the fashion being really boring this year, but there's a lot of white and straight edges. And what happened to, winter jewel tones? Does anyone know what happened to them? Because this year it's caramel. What it is beige, and I'm bored to death of it. So it's a good thing I don't follow fashion, as if you've been on the Frequency Radio's page or my own, you'll see that I'm wearing a very, very festive jumper. This is the fancy jumper I was telling you about. I love this jumper. It's so warm. But even when I'm not, I'm wearing a t-shirt with snowflakes on it because I've stopped being a curmudgeon this year. I'm actually looking forward to Christmas. I think it's because the weather is not being horrible here in Preston. I hear it's absolutely atrocious everywhere else. North Wales in particular has been hit pretty hard, and a couple of other places. And, everybody stay safe. But in Preston, it's been so mild, apart from the atrocious rain every other day. But when it's not raining, it's like today, it has been so calm. Even the wind isn't very cold. It's starting to weird me out, though. I just hope it holds off snow until January, because in January I don't have to go anywhere. I'm stuck in Preston. I don't care at that point. I'll have been done with trains. Trains, planes, and automobiles. There's a film I haven't watched and apparently should. If anybody knows anything about trains, planes, and automobiles that may convince me to watch it, let me know. I'm undecided on it. But here is a song I am never undecided on, and I know it's awful, and I love it for it anyway, so I'm going to dedicate it to my mum, Queen of the 80s, and weird pop talent shows I don't quite understand. I know you like him, Mum, so here is will.i.am with Bang Bang. I know you're listening in. Everybody else, I'm sorry, but this is my Christmas present to my mum. She gets Bang Bang played on the radio. Oh dear, I'm a cheapskate. I apologise for the swearing in that song. I didn't realise that was there. That was Bang Bang by will.i.am and some woman's name that I've forgotten. Anyway, I'm going to make this joining over thick bridge. Bridge is the word I'm looking for. I'm going to make this bridge really short because throughout the entirety of that song, all I could think of was this next song and how comic it would be to play them back to back. So, will.i.am's girl tried to shoot him down, but Elton John is stronger than that. Elton John, I'm still standing. I don't know why that... I know it's based on a summery kind of thing, especially with the video taking place in very, very summery 80s with the leotards and the leggings and the leg warmers and the men in body paint. Again, with the Wham issue of how did nobody suspect. But it was the 80s, I suppose. Anyway, I'm getting rather off topic. I wanted to ask you guys, because I've seen it all over the internet. I saw it last year, and it freaked me out then. What is the deal with these elf on a shelf things? I don't know if you've seen them. I find them incredibly terrifying. They're essentially sock monkeys, but somehow more frightening because they've given them these I'd say 70s inspired doll faces with the huge eyes and the tiny noses and mouths. And what you're supposed to do is make it a Christmas tradition that you put them in different places and have them do different things. So it's something for the children to find and enjoy and hiccup over every day throughout December. Up until Christmas, I assume. Or perhaps all the way through December. But they look so frightening. And I don't know if they've got wire in them or if they're just plush and you're supposed to do something with that. But I don't know what it is. I did see a very good, not a parody, but a post that was inspired by it, in which a younger family, you can kind of tell by the way that they did this, took that idea and made it more cool by having their children's toy dinosaurs come to life throughout the course of December and do a bunch of different things, including at one point, I believe, tying up an elf on a shelf. Which I appreciate, take something they already have and then make them watch Toy Story and forever have them live the life believing that their toys are alive, which is something they will believe anyway after watching Toy Story if they're anything like the children I know and I am. Yes, I'm still vaguely convinced that my childhood teddy honey bear, yes, it has a name, my childhood teddy bear came to life when I was younger and used to potter about. I don't know, there's always that childhood want and mild terror. Anyway, so we're going to get distracted from that by putting on a song which has an excellent music. No, it has nothing to do with cows, sadly. No, an excellent music video. If you ever get the chance, check this out. It's a work of wonder and a reference to one of the oldest films ever recorded. This is Smashing Pumpkins with Tonight, Tonight. Smashing Pumpkins, Tonight, Tonight. I really love that music video. I've always liked it. It had that weird kind of goth edge that appealed to high school me, and I can appreciate its influence now that I'm older. Not just the fact that it's all Victoriana and spaceshipy. Curse tiny past me. But no, it's one of those, it kind of stop motion-y paper jump cut beautifulness that I really enjoy. And speaking of stop motion-y, the music video to the following song is famous, or more accurately infamous, for its stop motion. And as I was watching Star Wars this past weekend, we went and took someone's Star Wars virginity because they had only ever seen Phantom Menace and none of the original trilogy. I know, gasp in horror. We had a lot of that when we've been trying to explain it. But no, while we were watching Star Wars, watching the AT-ATs, I suddenly found myself singing Sledgehammer and wondering why, until I realised, oh, claymation, stop motion, I can see the influence, maybe, and the odd connection my brain made. So, unfortunately, I decided to voice this opinion, and half the group were cursing me shortly thereafter for planting Peter Gabriel in their heads, as I suppose as you would want, if not necessarily. Well, no, you'd want to curse me, not want Peter Gabriel stuck in your head. I like his stuff. I'm not overly controversial on that matter. It's just one of those people. Meh. He's okay. He's fun. He's silly. At least he's not, addicted to love. What on earth is his name? Robert Palmer. At least he's not Robert Palmer levels of offensive when he's not making music. Or when he is making music. Because his music videos were infamous for objectively showing certain personages, shall we say, to steal the vocabulary of a ponce for a bit. Anyway, Peter Gabriel and Sledgehammer right after the Frequency jingle.
This is Frequency Radio.
Yes. That has a great stop-motion video for those of you who haven't seen it. It is interesting, if not necessarily fitting of the song. I don't think I saw a single sledgehammer in it. Which, it's not totally necessary. Technically, in the police's every little thing she does is magic. We never see any magic except the magic that is the police. Or is it meta like that? Maybe they are the magic. Oh, wiggly fingers that you can't see. So it's coming up to 10 to 10. Too many 2's and 10's in that sentence. It is coming up to 10 to 10. And guess what? Surprise Christmas. Or Christmas surprise, whichever way you prefer to phrase it. I will be here for the next hour. Gwillem has bowed out due to reasons. So thank you to Gwillem for a extra special slot to annoy you people with no Christmas tunes. Not that I believe Gwillem was going to do Christmas tunes either. We're all ganging up against it. Too many years have I spent having my brain rotted whilst waiting for my mum to pick out pyjamas for my cousins in Matalan will pick out of many other stores. Too many years have I waited and wasted brain cells listening to Christmas tracks. Now we fight back. We fight back with better music and gothic sound and, you know, kind of dorky guys from the 80s. So, here's something that never happens at Christmas. The sun always shining, but to be fair, it is on TV. Aha, the sun always shines on TV. Oh, I love that long final note. So good at that. Anyway, I'm not sure why that song brings festivities to mind for me, but I think it's just the sheer drama of it. A lot of Christmas songs are very, very dramatic, either with its sentiments or the way that it's sang, you know. Last Christmas I gave you my heart. I'm sure that's true in some places, but really, George? Anyway, yeah, so I thought I'd be silly and put on Aha because 80s and I love Aha. I have a controversial opinion in that I prefer that song, which is their follow-up single to Take On Me. Take On Me is quintessentially 80s, yes, but The Sun Always Shines on TV has that kind of Dead or Alive edge to it, you know, the weird glittery almost chords to the kind of darker edge. I don't know. Maybe that was just me adding emotions to a song that is very simply broken English. If you do listen to the lyrics, it is very, very broken. Enjoyable, but broken. Very much like reading some of the assignments from international students. Now, I shouldn't laugh, but some of the bilingual students do occasionally have trouble, and it is funny. I know I shouldn't laugh, and I know they really try, and I appreciate it, and they write so much better in English than I do in any other language, but oh, heaven help me, sometimes they can just be so funny, and I just feel so horrible laughing at them. But oh, it is. If you ever get the chance to read a bilingual one, here we go. Ultimately, the conclusion, address, final proposal to the question backing up with the research findings. That was one of my recent favourites that I read. I think half the problem is determiners don't exist in a lot of languages, or at least specific, non-specific determiners and definite articles and determiners and all that sort of stuff. They are more incorporated into the noun. They're not a separate item. So I know it's something people struggle to learn, but I can't help but find amusement in it. Broken English is one of those things that, because I study it so much, it makes me so happy. It's not malice, it's not haha, you can't spell, because I can't spell either. I am absolutely atrocious when I type. I apologise to everyone who has ever received a Facebook message from me. I know it's full of typos. I am so sorry. I just don't proofread, ever. Which is a serious downfall of mine. But, some sentences, especially in languages where you can change the order so that the subject doesn't have to come first. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, and I'm about to use terminology a lot of you won't be familiar with. So let's take this 4 minutes coming up to 10 o'clock to play you perhaps one of my favourite bands. Certainly one band that is rather close to my heart, having arguably punk influence. or perhaps definitely punk influence depending on who you are. This is The Police with Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic, which is a magic song. The Police, Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. This is Frequency Radio. Right now you're listening to Eclectic Airwaves. Hi, welcome. It's 10 o'clock. Gwillem is off, away with the fairies as far as we know, so we've nicked his hour. So tune in for a bit of Gen X, a bit of Queen, a bit of some people that you've never heard of, and a couple more classics. So, in the meanwhile, here's the challenge I promised you at the start of the last hour. Guess the year. Now, some of you are very savvy and may have already guessed because I'm rather predictable in my music taste. So here we go. This is your challenge. What year was this number one during Christmas time? That was, of course, Queen with Bohemian Rhapsody. And, of course, as usual, Wayne got it right. The master of knowledge. King of the pub quiz. Wayne got it right. Yes, that was 1975. It's at number one for, I believe, 9 weeks, which is nothing compared to how stagnant the charts are now. Ooh, did I just say that? Yes, I did. But yes, Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody, what's not to love? It's a good song. It's, again, as I said earlier, it's very dramatic, which is why I feel some of these other ones have fit in rather well. Admittedly, not the next song I have lined up. I mean, it's dramatic, but more what happened in the band is dramatic than perhaps the song itself. The song itself is just kind of nice and fun and reminds me of New Year's because it's got that whole dance theme. I think I've incorporated that into this by accident, this playlist, this series of tunes that have blessed your ears. Ooh, pompous. No, I've kind of taken New Year's into account because hopefully by January, cabbaged. It's been a long time since I've done this. Bear with me for this second hour. This could end horribly, so at least it'll be entertaining, eh? No, hopefully by January I'll have some new music to share with you guys. I know I'm looking into it. I know Frequency got another interview with Pretty Vicious, which will hopefully be going up before term ends, which is exciting, but I hope you'll all be patient in trying to figure out who is the interviewer, because it turns out Tom, the gentleman who offered to go and interview them, is also Welsh, so they all have the very thick, broad accent of South Wales. So that may take some sorting through and some listening to, but it should be very interesting, as they will relate to him in a way that us English-sounding fellows simply can't do. So yes, here is a track that always reminds me of New Year's because, you know, infighting, dancing, partying, being alone but having fun. That's what New Year's is all about, really, isn't it? That and drinking copious amounts and, you know, if you're with friends, making an idiot of yourself and getting snogged at New Year's. On New Year's itself, whether you want to or not. Managed to dodge out of that one year. That's a story for a different day. Anyway, here is a version of a song. This is the original version because I'm a Ponzi thing and prefer this version over the more popular one that I believe actually had more chart success. Here's Billy Idol before he was famous with Generation X, Dancing With Myself.
This is Frequency Radio.
Yes, that was Generation X with Dancing With Myself. A personal favourite of mine. I like it rather a lot. It is now just 10:15, just sneaking up on it. And we're here in the Frequency Live Lounge. No, we're not. I hear that's Ollie Murs' newest release, I think, was a live lounge recording of some Christmas tracks. So that is currently stuck in my head. Though I'm not sure why. I'm never particularly keen on live covers of things unless you're at a gig. There's a reason why things are produced. They sound better, usually. There are a few exceptions to that rule, of course. I distinctly remember Kurt Cobain having a live performance which was incredible, that wasn't technically a gig. I've forgotten. Anyway. Although, interesting fact about Kurt Cobain, his famous, iconic, I suppose you could say, if you're the kind of person to say that, jumper was auctioned off, I believe, for charity. That could be wrong, but it was auctioned off recently, which I find a bit odd. I get signatures. I mean, I suppose he can't sign anything, but I understand, getting signatures from people. Sometimes I get, shoes, I guess. You put them in a cabinet. But somebody's jumper? I don't know, maybe I just like wearing jumpers so much I can't quite wrap my head around it. It seems so strange to want to own somebody's jumper. But, people have done weirder things. People have snuck onto film sets for giggles before now. I couldn't say the rest of that phrase. Ships and giggles, shall we say. But yeah, I hear there's been a lot of stuff like that going on recently, and, a lot of celebrities doing stuff that I don't care about. Because it's almost Christmas, so surely we have to report on the people that we report about every year and how they're spending the holidays. Do we really? Come on. I've fallen to whining at this point. Like, please, public media, please stop doing silly things. Report on useful things. Not what some broad has named her child. For those of you who know what that story is, please get off the internet. Anyway, here is a track that I hold very dear to my heart, especially around this time of year. Now, I would like to dedicate this one to a lovely lady, a good friend of the family, who unfortunately can't tune in because of the time difference, but I want to dedicate this song to Anne, who is a good family friend, and who was very close when we grew up, and my mum's told me many times that when she got married, this is the song that they played because she became Mrs. Jones. Now, for me, it's just a sweet song. I just like this. It's something about the groove. It's definitely just that feeling it gives you. It's not, Boston's More Than Feeling can make me cry, as can Prince's Purple Rain, and a couple of other tracks. I think I'm getting sappier in my old age. But this is just one of those songs that just makes me feel like curling up with a cup of hot chocolate and maybe a cardigan. Or maybe a blanket. Just curl up on the sofa with a book and just have this playing in the background and relax and enjoy myself. So, I hope you feel a bit of that when you listen in. This is Billy Paul with Me and Mrs. Jones. That was Me and Mrs. Jones by Billy Paul. Such a chill track. I really do love them. It's such a great song. It had me feel... I actually closed my eyes and put my head down on the desk to enjoy that for a little while, because I'm pretty tired. I feel like I've had a long day, especially with the chicken incident earlier. The chicken incident and planning the show and trying and failing to write part of an assignment. References are all well and good, but it's trying to fit them in. That's the one bit that they don't take into account. So, yes, I know some of you have deadlines before Christmas. Good luck. My best wishes and thoughts are with you. Some of you, like me, have deadlines in January. Do the work now. Trust me, you are never going to get it done after you get back. You won't do any over Christmas. You might get some referencing done if you're really, really bored and you hate whatever film's on TV, but you will not get any writing done. Do it now. Stop putting it off. Speaking of writing, I'm excited because I've finally written a letter. A proper letter addressed properly, not for business or anything, but to my friend Melissa out in America. Yes, Melissa was she did a semester here last year. Oh, it feels like so long ago. Come back, Melissa. Yes, and she wrote me a letter, which it was very sweet, and it woke me up one day, and I thought, oh, that's really nice. I'll write one back. And then promptly realised I don't have any nice writing supplies. Do you ever do that? You get a plan and you think it's all going well until you realise you have to buy things for it, and then the lethargy kicks in and you're kind of trying to work around it and trying to find cheats. No, just me. Well, in the end, I ended up writing inside a Christmas card a letter, because why send a letter and a Christmas card when I can send one and have it do double duty? I said I was lazy. Not helped was that I already had the cards. To be fair, I really liked the design on them, so I didn't just give them out willy-nilly. Calling out Emily Peake here for Callum on the station, who signed a bunch of cards, which were, they were fine, kind of standard Christmas cards, until you opened them and it read, "Dear students, Merry Christmas from the 24-Hour Club." Now, as far as I know, nobody knew what the 24-Hour Club was. Not helped was the way it was addressed. Dear students. So Callum, our faithful defender of all things dramatic and personalised, and also on Sound of the Shows, which is a really great show and you should listen to. Now, he defended our honour of, you didn't even address them. How dare you write me a Christmas card, write me a proper one. She was apparently trying to use up old stock. That's where I'm trying to go with this. She was using up old stock. I am using up old stock by giving them to people addressed properly. In fact, in letter form. I wrote on both sides of the blank inside bit. So, extra long letter, sort of, possibly. I couldn't be bothered writing on cheap, nasty A4 paper. The paper she got for me was so nice and pretty, and it was real card and looked good, and then there's my biro on the inside of my Christmas card. I'm hoping she'll see it as kitsch, because at least if it's kitsch, it's funny. Otherwise it's just lazy and I'll feel guilty. Anyway, so yes, I have a plan right now. What you are going to get is a really long track, so I can go out and refill my water bottle, because I am gasping. It feels like I've been talking forever. I'm sure it feels like it on your end too. But I have a special track for you. Now, normally I don't play really long songs, unless it's the occasional, Inagota Vida, because who doesn't love Inagota Vida? Which originally was supposed to be in the Garden of Eden, but you know how drunk people are, they can't talk. Anyway, distracted. As I was going on about my 60s kick earlier, this is the song that started it all. I fancied this, and then it just led to Chaos, Dusty, Simon and Garfunkel, many other different people whose names I've promptly forgotten. It's the Beatles, of course, with Hey Jude, right after this little jingle.
This is free.
Hey Jude by the Beatles. A classic track. Now, of all the Beatles songs I could have chosen, I chose Hey Jude because it started this trend that I've been on recently of really enjoying some 60s tracks. Instead of, the 4 that they actually had as Christmas number ones. What were they? In 63, there was I Wanna Hold Your Hand. In 64, they had I Feel Fine. 65 was, I believe, an A-B side, Day Tripper and We Can Work It Out. And then the next year, unfortunately, was Tom Jones. But then in 67, they had another hit with Hello Goodbye. Yeah. I had those 4 to pick from, and instead I went with Hey Jude. I like Hey Jude. If there's a person out there who doesn't sing along to that last caterwaul, I guess, that last cacophony of na-na-nas, I don't know who it is. And as a kid, I used to dislike the Beatles. They really are a band that you do grow into, I find. Because I really didn't like them. I thought they were very boring. Even their most fun stuff. I distinctly remember thinking that I Am the Walrus was very silly. Although I did discover recently that the Cuckoo Choo in Mrs. Robinson is meant as an homage to the Beatles, which is cool, because it did sound awfully out of place and very, very familiar. The easiest way to get out of anything, really, is to say it's an homage. That doesn't really work with copying people, though, just music. I know I'm winding down now that we're into the second half of the second hour. It's 25 to 11, and we'll relax here and put on, I think, some Stone Roses, because I like these guys, and this is a really chill song to snuggle into our jumpers with. That seems to be a trend. I think I'm really, really warm. I am tempted to go to sleep on this desk. The Stone Roses with Waterfall. Yes. It is getting to that time where I get excited about going home and falling into bed. I love this gig, but there is nothing nicer than crawling into bed with a hot drink of some kind. Hot chocolate if we've got enough milk in and I'm feeling fancy, or herbal tea. I'm not allowed tea. Not allowed tea at this time of night. Although I don't have any trouble sleeping before the caffeine kicks in. It's only if I have caffeine at like 4 p.m. that I have trouble sleeping. For some reason, if I have it after 8 o'clock, I'm fine. I think it's a psychological thing, so I've always been told not to drink it after about 4 p.m. But then my brain, I guess, assumes that it's too late. I've no idea where I'm going with this. I think I'm on caffeine dep. Yes, to cheer myself up this morning after the chicken incident, as I shall forever name it, the chicken incident. Not the other chicken incident that involved the stock. I ended up treating myself because I have gained some fancy ground coffee. Because my lovely flatmate has decided that she's crazy and that she doesn't like coffee. But she got a few bags from her dad and promptly opened them all. So there's now sat in their fridge and they're mine. So I bought a cheap cafetiere just from Wilko's, and I've occasionally been treating myself, and that's about the only reason that I didn't throw this morning away and just have done with it, was because I made a pot for two for me and promptly drank all of it. It's hard to be upset when you've had good coffee. A good coffee can fix many, many things. As a good cup of tea, apparently. Not a cup full of dogs, no. A cup of tea. A cup of tea can fix anything, so long as you can pronounce it. I'm having one of those days. It's been mostly okay, but you find yourself tripping over things, and I don't know. I'm getting tired. Are you getting tired? I'm getting tired. I feel like I'm getting really old because I'm getting tired at 11:15. Maybe my social life is catching up with me. I'd rather it didn't do that. I prefer running away from it. That makes life a lot easier. No, it doesn't. What am I talking about? Absolutely nothing. So here's a song that, from a band that I like and have played regularly on the show before now. And here is the one song that everybody knows from them, because in the UK they were a one-hit wonder. And this is the one song they got. No, it's not Tub Thumping by Chumbawamba. It's the other one. Closing Time by Semisonic.
This is Frequency Radio.
Yes, that was Semisonic with Closing Time. I love that band so much. I've got a weakness for indie rock. Yes, that was Semisonic, whose album I heard and will continue to tell you about because it makes me happy. Yes, so on the list of other things that I have done and not botched up alongside learning bass, as I mentioned earlier, and writing this letter, I have also developed an affinity for Pinterest. Now, I've known about Pinterest for a while. I tend to get bored and troll through it for several hours at a time, looking at food and all sorts of things. But I've recently rediscovered my love of miniatures. This used to be just limited to miniature food, which is quite a big thing on YouTube apparently, is little tiny miniature food kits. You make, rubbers or just tiny miniatures to put in doll houses. And it's somehow escalated from there to an entire board to make a dollhouse. Or multiple dollhouses if you follow the theme. I'm worried I don't have enough money to make a dollhouse. I don't know what happened. I'm suddenly 40 and have empty nest syndrome, so I'm making a dollhouse. What's going on? So this may possibly end hilariously, because I've started doing that thing that I know primary school teachers do, where you look at the stuff that you have and you start thinking, how can I use that? I know, famously, primary school teachers are infamous for keeping old toilet rolls, you know, the cardboard in the centre. They keep and collect those because you can use them for so many things. And I caught myself looking at the bottom, you know, just simple buy it and warm it in your oven pizza, that horrible styrofoam bottom. I caught myself looking at it thinking, if I was going to make a recording studio in this dollhouse I haven't planned yet, in denial about, this would make excellent wall foam. And I sound like an idiot. You know, other girls on Pinterest, you know, some of the freakier ones have, you know, a wedding board despite having no idea who they're going to marry. Some people, like me, hoard food recipes. Some people, more creative people, like my mother, hoard sewing patterns and ideas for sewing patterns. Me, I just want to make tiny, tiny houses and tinier food. I don't know what's going on, but I suggest someone sends help. I get the feeling it's from the lack of sleep due to stress of assignments. I don't know. That's what I'm putting it down to. It makes me feel more sane. Here's a classic track that I used to choose. Does anybody remember Sing a Star? Well, it's like karaoke. I used to choose this song because it was the only song I could really hit the notes to. I was in a group of girls, I was the only one who could hit the notes low enough to sing like a boy. So here is a boy song. Where Only We Know by Keane. Proper sing-along in the studio along to that last track. I can't help myself. I had flashbacks to being in high school and completely destroying everyone else because I had manly alto voice. Not helpful in the school choir, but, you know, whacking microphones. It finally happened, the sacrificial knocking of the microphone. Sacrificial? That's not the word I'm looking for. Quick, move away from the weird word. Anyway, so we're going to wrap up about now. I apologise for the slight sleep deprivational tone that this last half took. I'm not sure what happened. My brain suddenly just turned off and went to sleep for a while. And I assume it led to some interesting conversation. I'm sure I'll cringe while listening back to it, which I have to do, because I put it on SoundCloud now. So if you miss a show, check it out. Last week's is up already. They go up every Monday. This will go up next Monday, providing I have my computer on me. This will go up next Monday, and it's edited out, so I can't get done for copyright the song. So if you want to listen to the full songs again, you'll have to go on YouTube and type it along with me. But it's been nice to have 2 hours again. It's been nice to have that slight level of confusion and sleep debt when I run out of topics and start rambling instead. Like about the dollhouse. I wasn't quite sure where I was going with that one. But apparently, according to my mother who's tuned in, it's exactly like having me back at home. So this is pretty accurately what a conversation with me is like. I am sorry to everyone who socializes with me. Anyway, it's 2 minutes to 11. I'm going to play you Peggy Lee, A Taste of Honey, to play us out tonight. A quintessentially winter song, in my opinion. So, happy Monday. I hope you all have a lovely final week of university before Christmas break. Everybody take care over the holidays. I'll see you when we get back. I don't know if I'm playing on the 4th, but I will definitely be back the week after that, whatever date that is. But Frequency, I believe, will be broadcasting from the 4th. So tune back in then. In the meanwhile, good night, sleep well. Happy 7th of December. And the third ruined it. Thank you, Poltergeist. Here's Peggy Lee.